with groundbreaking news and cutting-edge commentary, challenging your personal worldview and taking a deeper look into current events, politics, economics, and government. We bring you Trevor Thiessen with the Thiessen Report.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Thiessen Report. Today we're going to talk about the underwear bomber. What happened and why this is important. Just to give you a recap, an overview of what happened on that day. Friday, December 25th, 2009, Christmas Day. We had a young gentleman by the name of Umar Farouk Abdulmutallab. Pretty sure I said that right. He was on a Northwest Airlines flight 253 with 278 passengers on board, 11 crew, from Amsterdam to Detroit. And on descent, he tried to light this chemical bomb. It didn't go off. There was a small fire. He ended up burning himself and then being tackled by passengers. And then later was, of course, escorted by authorities upon arrival in Detroit. He confessed, at least they tell us he confessed, to being a member of Al-Qaeda. And fortunately, nobody was hurt or injured except for the underwear bomber himself. I think he had second or third degree burns. But anyway, I want to get into this topic, why it's important, the fallout from this, the ramifications of this, and how this is affecting our lives. So anyway, before I get into it though, I just have to say I can't resist. The media, of course, has made a few cracks about this, and I just can't help it. You know, he's also known, of course, as the Mr. Fruit of the Boom, Mr. Fizzlepants, and of course my personal favorite, the Diapers of Doom. So anyway, there I said it. I've got it off my chest. Nothing wrong with a little bit of comic relief once in a while. So it is a serious topic, though. We're going to get into it. We're going to break it down into sections. And the first thing I want to talk about today is the testimony of Kurt Haskell, who was a passenger on the flight and a witness to what happened before, during, and after. So Kurt Haskell is what we're going to cover first. Okay, the first aspect of this whole underwear bomber thing we want to talk about is the testimony of Kurt and Lori Haskell. Kurt Haskell is an attorney from Detroit. Both he and his wife are attorneys. And he witnessed some events that took place before they got on the flight, during, and then of course after they got off the plane in Detroit. And his testimony really blows apart a lot of the official story. There's a lot of things that the media just is not covering, or that they're changing the story on, or rather the authorities are changing their story on. Some of the key places to find this info is the Detroit News online, Infowars.com, and Kurt Haskell himself has a Haskell family blog that you can see word for word his testimony himself. He has never changed his story. The Customs and Border Patrol and FBI have not changed their story once or twice or three times, at least 5 times. And that's how ridiculous this is. And my personal opinion, I think this goes beyond just sort of clumsiness or ineptness. You decide for yourself, but I think there's more going on here than just that. To begin with, we start out in Amsterdam, the international airport in Amsterdam, and while they're waiting to get on their flight, Umar Farouk Abdulmutallab, who is, by his opinion, looking a little out of it, he may have been drugged, who knows, dressed poorly, was escorted by an East Indian looking man in a sharp suit. This guy was about 6 feet tall, light tan suit, 250 pounds according to his description, that walked him straight through, walked him right up to the counter, and asked for Umar to be put on the flight. Umar does no talking, he just stands there. And this guy says, he has no passport, but I just need to put him on the plane. Of course, the ticket agent says, well, we can't let people on the plane who don't have passports. And he says, oh, it's okay. He is a Sudanese refugee. We do this all the time. So the ticket lady says, well, you'll have to go see my manager. So they disappear down a hall, And that's the last that Kurt sees of him until they're on the flight. Now, on the flight, like I said, on descent, when they're coming to Detroit, he tries to light this chemical bomb, which fails to go off and proves there's just a little bit of a flash, a little bit of fire and smoke, and that's it. Of course, passengers are freaked out, though, and the passengers overpower him and subdue him. Now, one of the things that was really weird that was going on, and this was reported by other witnesses, that during the entire flight, that there was a man with a video camera filming the entire flight, filming the entire terrorist incident like he was expecting it to happen. We don't know who this person is to date. We still don't know. Authorities say that they have not been able to find him. But that was one of the weird things that was going on. I mean, who does that? Who just sits there and films an entire flight from beginning to end? There was someone doing that. So, anyways, they land on the ground, and according to Kurt's testimony, they sat on the ground for 20 minutes. So, no emergency removal of passengers. No, hey, let's roll out the the rubber slides and get people off the plane right now. They just sat there for 20 minutes on the tarmac before they were allowed to even get off the plane. They finally get off the plane, and they need to go into a baggage claim area that's not being used. It's completely sealed off. No one comes in or out. And they were there for 6 hours. Now, one of the weird parts was that he pointed out was they were allowed to take all their baggage claim or all their carry-on luggage with them. Well, what's more important, protecting the aircraft or protecting 278 people? I mean, if there's more bombs on there, if there's a second guy, why are we bringing all the baggage off with them? Who knows what else is in the baggage? So, I don't think that was really thought through really well. Okay? They get into this baggage claim area, and they're under tight security. No one's coming in or out. They're not allowed to go to the bathroom without somebody escorting them. That's how tight it is. After the first hour, they brought in some bomb-sniffing dogs. There was 2 German Shepherds and 1 black lab that they brought in. And, of course, the dogs go around all the luggage, and one of the dogs goes over and sits right beside this guy in an orange suit or orange outfit, whatever he was wearing. And so this dog has alerted the authorities that there's another guy here, not the original bomber, a different person who is now suspect. They escort this person into a room, and a little while later, they come out, and now he's in handcuffs. And they escort him away. So initially, they kindly asked him to come for questioning, which he complied with. After that, he came out, he was handcuffed afterwards, and then escorted out. That was about an hour into their wait. They were still there another 5 hours after that. 6 hours total, like I said. So that's his story. And this is where it gets a little weird, because, like I said, the FBI has changed their story a whole bunch of times. Even the Kurt Haskell can't totally keep track of all of himself, but he's written it out here. But I'll go over the different versions, and this is all within a matter of a week. That's how fast the story is changing here. FBI story version 1. Umar Farouk was the only person involved. Of course, that didn't hold up because other passengers started speaking up as well. Version 2. Yes, another man was taken into custody, but he was being held indefinitely on immigration charges. So I guess the dog could smell passports, not just bombs. I guess he must have gone over there and smelled this guy's passport was not valid or his papers weren't right, and that's what he must be like underdog or something. Just he knew. So that's ridiculous. I mean, they carried away. He was carried away in handcuffs. Now, version 3, they finally admitted, yes, another man was taken into custody, but he was from another flight. According to Kurt Haskell, not a chance. They were totally sealed off, blocked off. There was no way in or out where they were. They were not allowed to use their cell phones. They were not allowed to communicate. They were not allowed to do anything. They weren't allowed to eat or drink anything. They weren't allowed to go to the bathroom without an escort. And he has very much stressed this point. I want to add here, Kurt Haskell is an attorney, and he was very meticulous. He is not assuming anything. He's not jumping to conclusions. He's not trying to interpret. He's a lawyer, and he's very careful about the information he is sharing, what he saw, what he did not see, what he heard, what he did not hear. And anyway, it just goes on here. So the idea that he was from another flight just doesn't hold any water at all. Version 4 comes from Ron Smith of U.S. Customs. And it says here, there was a separate issue concerning a passenger from a separate flight. The passenger was escorted from the arriving plane to the CBP area. He was handcuffed at the time and could have been observed by passengers from Flight 253. Well, here's the thing. He wasn't handcuffed. He was free to move about like everybody else. He was not handcuffed until after they interrogated him. So there's obviously a big problem right there. They said he was placed in handcuffs and escorted into an interview room. No, he wasn't. He wasn't handcuffed till afterwards. And later it says here, he departed the facility along with other passengers and thanked the officers for doing their job. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. That's like the opposite of what happened. So anyway, this information is totally inconsistent with not only Kurt's account, but other people's accounts as well. Oh wait, we have version 5. Version 5 says that there were a composite of 2 events at the airport. Both were unrelated. One of these involved a passenger from Flight 249. Here we go again. Somebody from a different flight. The area was sealed off. Nobody from another flight got in or out. And then they say a sniffer dog reacted to an agricultural or food products inside the bag of the third man who was off yet another flight. So now there's a third man, and apparently the dog reacted to food. Version 5. I mean, it just gets more and more ridiculous as you go along. One thing I should mention about the guy dressed in orange that was hauled away. After he was hauled away, they were told to go to another area, shift over to another area by the FBI. And they basically said, you know, you just saw what happened. I think you understand what's going on. This is why we need to move. So they were very well aware of what was going on. All the FBI people there and the passengers. So anyway, that's just a little bit about Kurt Haskell's testimony. And we'll go on to some other topics here.